Next we'll go inside and look at placing some clutter and some content near and around the reception desk. So I'm going to press the H key on the keyboard to turn off the menu. And we're just going to fly in through the window to go into this two-story lobby and look at placing some content for the receptionist. Make a lively place for he or she to work. So there's the area that we'll be focusing on for the moment. If we go to Revit now and select this reception desk, that's a larger in-place family, and click the selection box command, that gives us a nice 3D view to work in. If we want to start dropping content in from the Enscape asset library. So we're going to open the Enscape asset library. And in the accessories category, we'll see a number of things that we can place here, like a full computer. So there's a couple of different options, such as PC or Mac. So let's place the Apple computer. So you can see over here in the Enscape view that those elements placed on the floor, this is where things get a little tricky, placing some of this content. So I'm going to select one of those and delete it. I'm going to select the other one and change the setting to be relative to level 1. And then I'm going to guess, I believe the countertop here is 30 inches. I don't remember exactly. But now when we look at it over here in Enscape, we can see that it looks like it's sitting at the right level. Hit the space bar to rotate the family. Then I can also drag it or use my arrow keys to move it around. Using the arrow keys isn't as efficient when you have Enscape open, because each arrow key is going to push or create an update that might slow things down just a little bit. So we can see that's starting to look pretty good. So a combination of working in Revit and viewing the results in Enscape. Maybe this person's drinking a cup of coffee. So if we place this in plan view rather than 3D view, we see that it doesn't show up, and that's because the planting category is turned off. So I may need to temporarily turn on the planting category to get that to show up. So in this case, I'm overwriting the view template. And now we can see that coffee cup show up. So relative to level 1, and again, let's just rotate it some random amount to make it look a little bit more realistic. We have additional nice clutter that we can place, like magazines, and I like this bowl of apples. You notice that it doesn't appear that we can adjust the elevation from level while we're placing it, so we're just going to place it on the ground. And then we'll adjust it to, I believe the transaction counter is 42 inches, maybe it's 48. So now we have a nice bowl of apples showing up. Next we'll add a person sitting at the chair. So we'll click on the people category. And you can see we don't have an option here for sitting. So we'll just scroll down through the list and just find the first sitting person. We'll click to place the person. And then we'll just adjust it around until it's in the right spot. Or until she's in the right spot. So we kind of want to navigate around this just to make sure the person's not into the countertop or buried in the armrest of the chair. And then it helps to look at the person's expression and what they're doing. So maybe this person's reacting to somebody who's standing on the other side of the counter. So we're going to go back into the asset library and add a person that this receptionist is helping. So we want to find a standing person that does not look like they're walking and has appropriate attire. This is a business or an office, not a healthcare facility, so we won't want a person dressed as a doctor. So once all the previews download, then you can navigate through this list pretty smoothly. Maybe we'll select this person who's just sort of standing in one spot. They're not walking or using their cell phone. We'll use the rotate command, and again we'll leave it just slightly off orthogonal. And then what I like to do is just sort of look at their sight lines, because obviously right now it looks like he's actually not looking at her. So if we go back to Revit and rotate him slightly, now it looks like he's looking at her, so it just makes for a much more realistic scene. Just a couple more items that we can place in the model here. So I have my select elements by face, so every time I click it keeps selecting something like a floor or the countertop, so I just turn that off. We'll go back into the asset library and we'll just add 2 more things from the accessories section at the reception desk here. So some pens, and so you can see every time I place something, it pauses for Enscape to update the real-time rendering view. When I change the height, it pauses, and then when I move it, it pauses. So what's helpful to do sometimes is just pause Enscape so that we can drop in and make multiple changes to the model. So in this case, I'm actually going to add more than just a couple more things. I'll add a phone, a small desk plant, and then most people have pictures of friends and family at their desk, so we'll add a framed picture. So I placed all 3 of those items just on the ground, and now I can select all 3 of them and move them up together, move them over together. And so all this is happening without the pause to update Enscape. So I can quickly adjust this. Rotate elements. Of course, the picture should be pointing at the person. I'm not quite sure which way it should face. So now when I update the Enscape view, I can see if I guessed correctly, or maybe that needs to rotate 180 degrees. And looks like I guessed correctly, so that looks pretty cool. Just enough clutter here to make it look more realistic. Maybe this plant should be over in the corner, or maybe there's actually 2 of them. Again, a quick pause. So maybe there's one of these on each side of the plant, so I can use the copy command now. I don't have to go back to the asset library. Some of this content has some emissivity built into it. So what that means is if we change the time of day, we'll be able to see this particularly well. So this screen actually is emitting light, and we can see it lighting the face of the character. So we'll switch back to Revit for a minute, and I have it positioned here so that we can see the receptionist's face. And if we delete that screen, maybe we need to get it a little bit closer just to really see it in this case, because the space has a lot of artificial lighting set up in it. So I'm just going to mess this up for a minute. So I'm going to select it, and you see the light on her face. I'm going to delete it, and clearly that affected how her face is lit up, which would be how it normally looks when a person's looking at their cell phone or a computer screen. So there we have it. Some nice clutter here added to the reception desk area. We can continue to do this throughout the project to make it look more realistic and help the client and project stakeholders understand how a space might be used.